I want to go further than that and make it even more of a Tsar regime. Like Trump is in cahoots with Russia. He's actually talking about he needs more time. I don't think a president should have 2 terms. That's some Tsar shit, some communist shit, right? If I want to actually pull off that type of shit and actually alter society and government, what would I do? Make laws that actually make people more compliant, less resistant. How do I do that? Well, you need something to scare people into something, right? Like we need terrorists to actually have crashed planes for us to search your ball sack at TSA at the airport and take off your shoes and do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around.
So they create the problem and they have the cure.
Yes, even though they still, they've done research reports that the motherfuckers let 95% of weapons through the damn thing. So you mean to me, I took off my shoes, my hat, I did the hokey pokey, I lift up my shirt. Some motherfuckers even tried to put their hands in my sweatpants just to make sure I didn't have a holster with a gun inside of it, right? They did that. But 95% of guns are still getting across the thing. And we know this because some celebrities, like Too Short, has actually taken a gun since 9/11 in through the airport on a plane and got to California. How's this possible, right? So you ask yourself, do you think 20 years later that the government, if they pulled off some shit that infringed on your rights in 2001, they weren't going to try to go even further in 2020?
So your point is basically that the people are too dumb to realize a plan like this, and we can't figure it out.
Now,
but you can figure it out, not us.
This all goes into the psyche of the average person.
But you said the common man is the person we need to look at for this type of information.
Well, I said
if the average person is dumb, I'm not going to look at a dumb person who can easily be swayed by something, right?
So you just conflated a statement. So let me be more specific with it. I said the common man that is a critical thinker, not the common man.
And what is your measurement of a critical thinker?
Person like me that can break the shit down and give you a scenario, and I'm not even an expert at it.
Yeah, but
I can give you a scenario of what I would do if I was an administration politician.
Right.
And I'm not one. Right? Now you got to know that if I can come up with unscrupulous scenarios. Yeah, okay. Dudes that are specified
but at this point, we're going into fantasy land here.
No, we're not.
You saying you can do this? I have all this ability.
You seem like a smart man, right?
I believe so.
So you know who Harry Kissinger is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then I digress.
Yeah. Okay. Stop.
Did I digress?
Hold on. I gotta use my history degree and my public policy degree right now. Okay. Yes. Harry. Okay. I see where you're going with that. Henry Kissinger was an advisor. Was it to Reagan? I can't remember which president it was exactly.
Yeah,
it was Jimmy Carter. It was Ronald Reagan, and it was some Bush's.
Right, and he basically was saying how we should weaponize HIV as a means of population control amongst the homosexual community.
Okay.
We should promote homosexuality as well as a means of population control.
Okay.
So. Oh yeah, you went down my alley with that one. So okay.
So now we're talking about eugenics, right? We're talking about basically controlling the population and saying there's desirable genes and there's less desirable genes. Let's talk about the history of that, because we can't just start with Henry Kissinger as if he is the first person.
He's not.
Let him finish.
He was a political.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
So was. We can go into Margaret Sanger.
You're right. Yeah, he was an advisor to the president.
Margaret Sanger, the Planned Parenthood was a eugenist.
There we go.
Charles Darwin was a eugenist.
No, but they weren't.
You have the order of species right there.
But they are
political figures.
But they make public policy through scientific research because they're saying this is the scientific consensus.
No, they didn't.
We're saying that genes actually make a person bad or good. They are making the policies because we are talking about policy making here.
I'm not saying anything about eugenics. What I'm saying is unscrupulous. I'm saying unscrupulous politicians and political figures. Harry Kissinger might not have been a politician per se. He was a political advisor.
But people say stuff all the time. Was HIV?
No,
was it made though? Now he said it. Now did it happen?
I don't know.
They say it has a patent number.
It does.
Everything has a patent number. Let's talk about that again.
Okay, expound.
Keep going with this.
Expound.
In 2015, there was a patent.
You didn't answer my actual point.
What was the
point? Hold on.
What was his point? You gotta answer the point.
My point was, if I'm a Joe Schmo nobody and I just gave you a scenario of what I would do if I wanted to control the society of people through governmental means, how I would do it. Now,
okay, I'm a Joe Schmo. If I want to kill everybody, if I want to kill people, I put anthrax on your pillow because everybody sleep with pillows.
No, put it on your dollar bill.
Yeah, I put on your. Yeah, I put it. It's not a hard. It's 1,000 ways to kill people.
That's not complex.
How? It doesn't have to be complex.
It actually does.
If I put
to kill people has to be complex.
I think y'all hitting the serious fucking with y'all.
No. I'm curious now.
No, to control people, it has to be complex. Okay, what I mean by that.
Oh, it doesn't?
I'm gonna tell you.
I agree.
I'm gonna tell you how.
How does it have to be complex?
When you killing. Like, if I kill y'all, that's easy, simple. But if I want to kill this whole street,
if I want to,
it becomes complex.
If I want to control,
if I don't want to be found,
if I want to control,
if I don't want to be.
I have to do
man,
it.
Maurice, you know where I want to see you at, Maurice. You know where I want to see you at.
Hey, we can make it happen.
You know where I want to see you.
We can make it
Off the
happen.
rails here.
These are government officials that I think are more corrupt and more power driven, right? So if I want to control people, I have to make it a little complex, and I have to make it a little bit more stealth, for lack of better words. I can't put anthrax on your pillow. That's too obvious, right? I can't machine gun you in the street. That's too obvious, right? So what do? I pass public policy, which says, let me come up with a scenario. Some terrorist sleeper cells hijack a plane, crashing into a building. So we passed the Patriot Act that makes anybody that speaks against a government,
complex,
federal, local, or whatever, a terrorist, deemed a terrorist, which can be apprehended without due process.
So nothing is spontaneous? You saying that I can't, for example, the same way you can make these ideas up is the same way you can become the person to actually push these ideas. I can be I can be a goat herder.
You asked me a question. Do I believe it can be spontaneous like the virus?
Like the virus, yeah, exactly.
Just expanded out of osmosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. However, according to science, it's an indicative that the body is actually resilient. Your body has viruses in it right now, right? The body, the settlers came here early 1600s and almost froze to death and ate shoe leather and tree bark, right? The body can go through the most harshest terrain on the planet, and the species will survive.
And you can fall down the street and die. So it's both, 1 and 1.
Well, yeah, it's called natural selection. Everybody ain't gonna make it, nor should I want them to. So my point on that is,
wait a minute, how you gonna say some shit like that? No, how you gonna say some shit like that to talk about population control?
Eugenics, so now you don't like certain people because for certain reasons.
Man, that made me feel bad. I had like what you just said.
I'm not eugenics. I think everybody should be given the opportunity to live unmolested, right?
Okay.
There are certain people that gotta go or should go. I think when you have Bill Gates that wants to pass mandate laws of us actually taking a vaccination when he won't even administer to his children, and he wants to propose the population, which means to take away from the population, not to prevent. You already alive, we're gonna get rid of you. We're getting you the fuck out of here by 10 to 15%, his own words, not mine. He gotta go.
He said, what now? I didn't hear this one.
Yes, that makes me eugenics.
What did he say?
He says that the world has too many people, he did a TED Talk, and that there are too many people on this planet for the resources that we have allotted.
Okay.
But you hoard like a third of the money. That is indicative to purchasing most of the food, right? So you want to kill me, and I have to work fist and mouth to get the food, and you have proven to administer vaccines to people in India that have killed children in Africa. We know this. So if that makes me eugenics, he gotta go. He has to go. He wants to kill me and you. So while he hasn't say anything on how we're conducted or has any type of influence to the CDC or the Health World Organization, like, he gotta go. Because these people are actually corrupting the people that are the CDC, Center of Diseases Control.
And let me interject really quick. I guess my thing is this is
why are we believing them?
This is my whole thing. As a college student, I was very big on conspiracy theory. My thing is, to be a conspiracy theorist, your life has to suck.
That's not true.
No, I'm gonna tell you why.
That's not true.
How do you know that there's nothing in your drink that is not that could be potentially hazardous to you? Like, as human beings. But this is the meat of what I'm getting at.
The freedom.
You really fuck them up at Starbucks. You know it got the little grease on it.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Because my thing is.
Go deep where you want to, Maurice.
No. This is all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying as a conspiracy theorist.
I would get coffee off of free will, whether it has a contaminant or a disease or chemical in it, whether or not. I don't want to have to involuntarily have to go to a place where they put something in my arm.
But what's the difference, though, homie? What's the difference? The bottom line. No, hold on. What I'm getting at is you're vulnerable. Okay. As citizens, we are fucking vulnerable every second of the day. Mm-hmm. So for me to try to sit back and Cause I know when I read Behold a Pale Horse, that shit fucked my head up.
I want to read.
Closing my. I didn't want to hear certain frequencies. That's gonna.
Engineered.
And it's like that shit will drive you nuts.
Okay, let me answer your statement that you said. To be a conspiracy, your life gotta suck. Not necessarily. Everything is a conspiracy, right?
Not everything.
Well, what does conspiracy mean?
It means for people to come together whether individually or collective group, come together to actually orchestrate serious events, right?
Yeah.
You conspire to get dressed the next day. Yo, I'm gonna wear this. I'm gonna do this. I gotta.
Wait, it's not a theory.
But everything is
not a theory.
No. That's a theory because
until
until you can say I'm gonna wake up at 7 o'clock. I'm gonna wear that navy blue sweater.
It's not a theory. These are statements.
I'm gonna tell you why it's theoretical. Because until you actually do it and put it into practice, it's just a theory. You cannot wake up.
It depends on what. No. Because if we're dealing with science, then no. If we're dealing with science, the whole concept of a theory is night and day.
Okay.
Yes, it's not a theory.
Then you have observations.
I can say I'm going to get home
You have
safely.
hypotheses. You have theories, and you have laws.
Exactly.
Okay. No. I just gave you a conspiracy theory, a thing that you've plotted and you've planned out that is supposed to take.
And I feel you.
That is a plan.
And that's what the terminology changes up.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not a theory. That's a plan. I plan to get home safely. And until I get home safely, it's just an hypothesis.
I'm not using that scenario, so that's a moot point.
How is it a moot point? I'm trying to get you to clarify what theory is.
Okay.
Let me write that down.
So 1 plus 1 is 2.
Right.
Allegedly.
According to mathematics, that was this theory until they actually put it into practice. Now, how do you do that? Because you got 2 fingers, you can easily do that.
No, that's not true because I'm a mathematician.
He know math.
He said he know math.
Without doing
I'm a math like enthusiast.
without the rudimentary arithmetic way of calculating.
Right, like how do you say 1 exists?
Without doing mental gymnastics, because I had a nigga that was a mathematician. This nigga was like 1 plus 1 necessarily ain't 2. My nigga started out.
That's not. And 1 plus 1 is 2.
1 unit. 1 unit equals 2 units.
What's the unit?
Like 1 thing.
What's the thing?
See, now there's mental.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
I'm not gonna answer that
Because before we talk about,
If we're dealing with science, we're dealing with specifics.
I want to make sure that when we try to get to the root of everything, we must understand where we start from.
I'm trying to explain.
I don't want to. Right. I don't want to go away, but it's not true.
The theory that before pre-mathematics had actually been originated, right?
Pre-mathematics?
Yeah, because they didn't always
Before math.
Math has always been.
No, it hasn't.
According
Whoa.
That's why you need to listen. Listen,
No.
brother. He's telling you.
You're not going.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You clearly in algebra, right? When was that? About 7,000 years ago.
Okay.
What was that?
About 7 before.
Algebra was made in the 600 AD by algebra over there in North Africa.
My point, 6,000 years.
No, 600 AD. That means about 1,300 years ago. 1,400, if you must say.
No, Kemetic people that actually originated pre-algebra.
The word algebra
is Arabic.
It's Arabic. Arabic didn't come until the 600s AD. Egyptians are 3,500 BC. That means it would have been at least 4,000 years before. Now, I don't want to go too deep into math history.
Okay, I'm just going on basic history. They believe that Imhotep had actually used algebra to actually...
Not Imhotep.
No, he did not.
That's his name.
Imhotep did, bro.
He is biological.
I think
he did
if I'm not
create the
mistaken, it was
pyramids.
either Imhotep 3 or 2 or 3. I forgot which one. He was an advisor, not the one that was the pharaoh. Whatever that one was.
There was no Imhotep that was the pharaoh.
Imhotep was the
There
one.
was no Imhotep.
He said advisor.
But what are we
He
saying?
was a multi-genius. Okay, where are we getting at?
I don't want to derail it.
Hold on, I'm not going to
saying?
derail it. I'm just bringing a point. Y'all keep getting me with hangers, and I keep having to adjust the hangers.
Terminology is what
So
they get.
there was a pharaoh that actually was Imhotep. It wasn't his first name. He had a long ass name. Imhotep was actually one of them. There was also an Imhotep that was an advisor to the pharaoh. He wasn't a pharaoh.
Okay, but not
Whatever
Imhotep.
They believe that he had actually used pre-algebra to actually construct certain temples and even parts in some of the pyramids.
That's not true though. How could you say that? They use geometry.
And algebra.
No, they use
Algebra
geometry.
didn't exist.
Yeah, algebra did not exist.
Algebra came about before geometry.
Really?
No, homie.
So you're saying wait.
Which is why you study algebra in school before you study geometry. Because elements of algebra are used in geometry, not the other way around.
Algebra is analytic geometry.
But you have to.
Do you understand that? Algebra is
in high school.
Analytic geometry.
You have to take algebra first before you can take geometry because elements of algebra is in geometry. If you didn't study algebra, you won't know how to actually.
So let's talk. Wait, look. Geometry is like SSS theory, meaning talking about the angles of triangles, talking about circles and certain lines and circles.
And yes,
there is no algebra in it.
No,
it's AB equals CD or something like that.
No,
those are the line segments. Line segments raised.
No, because
in
algebra you have linear equations that are also.
What's a linear? Linear is a line.
Yes.
Right. A line is geometry.
Hold on. Yes. So if you have. Let's slow down.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually have a shape.
A shape is geometry.
Listen, if you have a shape of a building and you're trying to construct or tear down a wall to incorporate another shape, right? The shapes have lines like hexagons, triangles, squares, and all that, right?
Right.
You would need an equation. You use linear equations in algebra, and you actually use those in geometry for those shapes.
So y'all
for those equations.
No, that's not how it works.
Yes,
man.
it actually is.
That's
I'm
not
not
how
gonna
it
argue
works.
that. But
Because before numbers, there was geometry. Let's be clear. That's why when you said about the 1 + 1 = 2, before they knew about numbers, they used geometric ideas so they can figure out their own world. Because the ancients are very sacred when it comes to certain things in the universe.
What high school you go to?
I went to Benjamin E. Mays.
And you took out geometry before you took
Mays
out.
Raiders.
I'm not. First and foremost, my biggest. I have a beef with how we teach mathematics.
Hold on.
Because it's maths with
But
the S.
brother, you gotta answer the question. Did you take algebra before geometry? It's a yes or no.
Yes, I took pre-algebra in 6th grade, and I took algebra in 7th grade. Yes.
Okay. And then you took
I took geometry in 10th grade. Yes.
I digress. Let's go back to
geometry.
That was my whole point.
No.
Geometry had no algebra.
No, hold up.
What are you talking? My geometry had no algebra.
Mine did. I'm sorry, mine did. I went to Frederick Douglass.
Doug Astros.
So the side theorem is an algebraic theorem. It is not.
Yes, because I can actually be breaking down equations without the actual
Why
shapes in front of
you keep putting
me.
equations here. Look, we're talking about.
Hold on. So you telling me geometry has no shapes or it has no equations? Are you saying that?
I'm saying geometry
Does not have equations. Are you saying that?
Yes, I am.
And you don't use.
They have theorems and postulates.
Okay, and you don't use no linear
Geometry
equations.
has.
Are you saying you don't use linear equations?
Geometry has theorems and postulates. Meaning they say that one thing is something else.
Okay.
For example, that's why we know about angles. We say, so how do you prove an angle?
But was geometry have to
prove an angle through
if I'm trying to figure out how to tear down a wall within a square and a hexagon, I would actually need an equation to figure that out.
You need to know the properties of the actual.
And you would have to plug them into an